ways. Article 11 of the Unified Land Development Code contains the general criteria used to review applications in conjunction with the Land Development Design Standards Manual posted on our website. Permit applications are processed through e-permitting, a paperless online computer system. In addition to the electronic processing of submittals, there is a daily contingent of professionals and members of the general public seeking assistance with a wide array of processes and issues. The County Construction Coordination Division inspectors verify permit compliance of right-of-way and utility permits. Drainage reviews are inspected and certified by the engineer of record attesting compliance with the regulations of Palm Beach County. Platting. This section administers the subdivision platting, plat waiver, and lot combination regulations as predominantly contained in Article 11 of the Unified Land Development Code. Recently, this section has started an electronic review process. Special Projects section. The Special Projects section conducts special research, monitors conditions of approval, administers abandonment, and road closure ordinances. A Geographic Information System, or GIS, is used to plot right-of-way permits, their status, and various county projects in the county's geonavigation system. This important section also assists the public with requests for building baseline waivers, removal agreements for drainage easement, and lake maintenance easement encroachments. Zoning section. The zoning section coordinates with and represents the engineering department's concern with respect to zoning and engineering issues under the Unified Land Development Code, or ULDC. The duties and responsibilities of the division in this regard include, but are not limited to, review of applications submitted to the zoning division, representing the engineering department at meetings pertaining to these petitions, representing the engineering department at development review officer meetings and zoning commission meetings, and recommending and coordinating engineering conditions of approval. The Land Development Division is committed to continually improving the services provided to our customers, the protection of the overall public health, safety, and welfare, and to achieving a recognized high level of public satisfaction and quality of service. For more information, contact the Land Development Division.
It's such a beautiful day to be out on the water, but operating a boat isn't as simple as just jumping in and turning a key. Here are some simple tips to make sure everyone has a safe and enjoyable day on the boat. Before we get on the boat, we have to have a plan, a checklist, and like any motor vehicle, it's important to ensure your boat is in safe operating condition while at the dock, not in the middle of the water. Check for any damage to your boat. Is your registration up to date? Make sure you have enough life jackets, fire extinguishers, and other safety equipment on board, such as a trauma kit. The U.S. Coast Guard offers a complete vessel safety checklist, which is available on our website. Check your fuel levels the night before your trip. Refer to your owner's manual to ensure you're using the correct fuel for your boat. Be careful of overfilling the tank, as it can lead to fuel spills in the water. It's important to make a plan and stick to it. Are you planning to go fishing? Or maybe you want to visit one of the county's beautiful parks. Stick to your plan so you can bring the right supplies before you leave. It's crucial to pack enough water and food for your journey, even if you're bringing adult beverages. Make sure there's enough water for everyone on board, especially on those hot, sunny days. Additionally, check the weather and water conditions the night before. Be mindful of how many guests and how much gear you're bringing on board. It's important to give everyone enough room to move around safely. Plus, overloading your boat can throw off its balance, affecting your ability to operate the vessel safely. Once everyone is boarded, it's important to conduct a safety orientation with everyone in case an emergency. Where are all the life jackets and buoys located? If an emergency arises, do you know which radio frequency to use? Ensure everyone knows where the visual and sound signaling devices are for emergency situations. Remind your guests no bow riding or sitting on the bow of the vessel or other places that are off limits. Keep your hands and feet inside the boat so no one falls out. Operating a boat under the influence of alcohol is not only illegal, but extremely dangerous. The primary cause of many boating accidents is human error and negligence. If someone has had too much to drink, consider appointing a designated skipper to take the helm. For more tips, please visit pbc.gov/parks and happy boating.
You know that Palm Beach County is #1 in recycling, but did you know that Palm Beach County garbage is not landfilled? Instead, it's taken to the SWA's renewable energy facilities and turned into enough electricity to power 90,000 homes. Not only that, Renewable Energy Facility 2 is the cleanest, greenest waste-to-energy facility in North America. Thank you for helping us recover resources and preserve the environment. Learn more at swa.org.
Attention Palm Beach County residents. When hazards approach, will you be prepared to protect what matters most? A resilient community starts with involved citizens. Be the neighbor who reaches out before, during, and after disaster strikes. Volunteer with organizations like CERT or United Way. Take free FEMA classes on emergency preparation, response, and recovery because an educated community is an empowered one. When communities prepare together, we stand stronger. Start your plan today at readypbc.com.
PBC is bridging the gap for trade job seekers wanting to work for Palm Beach County government. Discover all of the great career opportunities and benefits available working for us. Let's talk trades. Job fair events are a great way to connect. They bring eager job seekers together with PBC department professionals under one roof. Facilities, planning, zoning and building, water utilities, engineering and public works, parks and recreation, just to name a few. Representatives from these departments are available to answer questions, provide information about current career opportunities. You can apply and submit your application right there on the spot, whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out. There's a job here at the county. Let's talk trades.
If we could call the Planning Commission meeting for October 10th to order, please. Precious, may we have a roll call?
Carr Irwin Ferris.
Here.
John Carr.
Here.
Rafael Clemente.
Here.
Varissa Laudas. Rosie Matos. Carl Klepper.
Here.
Brian Stenberg.
Here.
Rick Stopik.
Here.
Gary Brown.
Here.
Ankar Patel. Stephen Basor. Denise William. Cedric Thomas.
Here.
Selena Samos. We have quorum.
Thank you. May we please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance. Liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Staff, do we have proof of publication?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great, thank you. Do we have any postponements on the agenda at all?
No.
Nothing today? Okay. If no postponements, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Get that? Yep, Brian. Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Nice talking to you.
Bye. We have a second, Precious, sorry. Kara? All right, we have a motion. As soon as Rick gets settled in. Good morning. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Consideration of the minutes. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the minutes from last meeting? Okay, great. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's by Raphael. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brian again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, great. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving right along. I did not see, do we have any comments from the public in general? I didn't see any that are not on the agenda item. I didn't have any. All right. Might be Encore's speed test here. All right, so the only comments I have is I want to welcome, we have two new members to the commission, Carl Klepper and Cedric Thomas. Welcome to our commission. We're usually, so I've been doing this for a year. I'm usually on time and a little more organized, but I got it. Maybe I'll do better for Mr. Attorney to not break all the rules, right?
You're doing fine.
So we'll welcome, we'll have an opportunity for you to give us a little bit about yourself and why you like being on the commission when we have down another agenda of the time where it says commission comments. I do want to thank the staff for this past year, because I know we have a vote today for a new chair. So it's been a great year. I think it's been a great year. I don't know about everybody else. I keep our attorney on our toes, I guess, but I really enjoyed it. Thank you. You know, it's something that I've enjoyed to give back to the community. We get paid so much money to be up here and to be able to be have this opportunity has been really great. So I want to thank you. I also want to thank the commissioners, specifically our Mayor Marino, for allowing me for the opportunity as well, and all the commissioners' hard work when we passed this along to them. You know, when I first got here, I was like, what are we really doing? It took me a year or so to get grounded, and I realized we really do make a difference for our community and our county. So thank you, and thank you to the staff. And there's my cue, like on the award show, to be quiet. I have a great vice chair telling me it's time to end, so thank you. All right, with that, let's move right along to our public hearing. And we have on the agenda 26A, county proposed text amendment for the water supplies facility. And we would like to hear from the applicant, please.
This,
Go-
yeah, this is a county-initiated.
Oh, this is another one like that. See?
We have our staff senior planner.
Thank you.
David Willock, to give you an overview.
Maybe I could turn backwards. Good morning, David Willock with the Planning Division. Item for the Planning Commission is the Water Supply Facilities Work Plan Update. All right. Every 5 years, the County Water Utilities Department is required per statute to update the Water Supply Facilities Work Plan. The work plan update is required within 18 months of the most recent update to the Lower East Coast Water Supply Plan, which was last updated in September 2024 by the South Florida Water Management District. The proposed changes to the comprehensive plan include adoption of the new water supply facilities work plan by reference into the utility element, a revision to utility element policy 3.1B, tables 3.1B1 and B2 to reflect updated data and the 2035 planning horizon. And finally, a revision to the capital improvement element, table 10A, to reflect updated data. Regarding public notification, IPARC notices were sent out September 18, 2025. The county also hosted a meeting with South Florida Water Management District on August 29, 2024 to discuss population projections, water planning area boundaries, local governments, and water utility providers. Advance. No inconsistencies with the comprehensive plan have been identified. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the proposed amendment. We have Kristen Burnson and Diana Pelk from County Water Utilities here to give a brief overview of the Water Supply Facilities Work Plan document.
Good morning, Kristen Burnson, Deputy Director of Palm Beach County Water Utilities, and with me too is Diana Pelk, our Environmental Programs Supervisor. So we're going to present to you on our 10-year water supply facilities work plan. Next slide, please. So what is a water supply plan? It evaluates the projected water demands and available potential sources of water to meet demands over a 10-year period. Based on these demands, local governments will better be able to manage water supplies and better plan for water supply system improvements. The plan is updated every 5 years in accordance with Section 373.709 of the Florida statutes, and our current plan horizon will bring us out to 2035. Next slide. So this map illustrates the unincorporated area of Palm Beach County in yellow, and then the areas served by the other various municipalities in gray. Next slide. There you go. So this one further demonstrates the service providers within Palm Beach County. So us, again, is in the yellow is Palm Beach County Water Utilities, plus all the other several municipalities. And then we also have the city of Westlake is a user of ours. Thank you. Next slide. So again, just another map to show the light orange is served by WUD. Hatched areas are municipal areas, boundary limits that are served by water utilities. The gray areas are municipal areas not served by water utilities. And then the remaining areas served by all the other providers serving unincorporated areas of Palm Beach County. Next slide, thank you. So one of the major elements of water supply plan is to project the population served. In addition to our service area customers, we have 8 bulk water agreements with other municipalities and users. As part of the water supply plan, population projections were updated to match with growth shown in the Water Utilities Department customer database, and adjustments were made based on changes and updates to the bulk agreements. Previous water supply plans had forecasted the well conversion numbers in thousands, but in reality, it's been several far less than that. We've had maybe about 100 properties converted in the last 10 years, so therefore we're projecting about 25 conversions per year moving forward. Okay. So table 5.1 from the water supply plan summarizes the population forecast for various municipalities throughout Palm Beach County. The population projection was provided by the Palm Beach County Planning Division and is based on 2025 data. The table also shows the population of the county's unincorporated area that is being served by different municipalities. Water Utilities Department service area is divided into 2 sections. We have the east and the west. The western area encompasses Belle Glade, South Bay, and Pahokee.
Based on this population projection, the Water Utilities Department will be serving approximately almost 615,000 people in the east and nearly 40,000 in the west by 2035. The total population projection is in line with the Bieber projection of nearly 1.7 million people by 2035 for the county. Next slide, thank you. This table also summarizes the population forecast for various municipalities throughout Palm Beach County. Again, it was provided by the Palm Beach County Planning Division. It also shows the population of the county's unincorporated area that is being served by different municipalities. Okay, next slide. And then this one again was just to show the population split between the east and the west service areas that we do provide service to. And then again with a total population of almost 1.7 million people to be served countywide come by 2035. So population projections. Water Utilities Department currently serves almost 40% of Palm Beach County, and this percentage will remain the same through 2035. The current population served is a little over 611,000 and is projected to increase to almost 670,000, with approximately 94% of the population living in our eastern region and then about 6% being served in the western region population. So as stated earlier, we do have water bulk agreements with 8 municipalities where we provide them bulk water. They don't have their own facilities to treat that. We provide them the finished water and then they provide it to their customers. So you can see the list here. Next slide. So this is just a summary of the contracted agreements that we have with the various, those 8 customers. It has a projected demand of about 6.9 million gallons per day, with the max demand up to 18.5 million gallons per day. These are all of the sources are by our various bulk agreements that we have with the various agencies that was signed by the County Board of County Commissioners. We also have emergency interconnects. Water Utilities is a good backbone and steward to other of our sister municipalities and utilities. So if they have an issue, they call us and say, can you open an interconnect and provide us water? So we do have several interconnects, again, with various municipalities, and we do provide them water consistently, some more frequently than others, but we are there to be a good steward to our neighboring utilities that need help when the time should arise. Thank you. So to project the water demand for our service area, we use per capita numbers for our eastern and western service areas, and based on that, for the eastern region, we have finished water of about 103 gallons per person per day. And then in our western region, it's about 176 gallons per person per day. One of the things we're very proud of on the east, we're probably one of the lowest finished water per capita per day within the county. And we're very thankful that our use of reclaimed water and alternative water sources has been able to help us keep those numbers really low. And so our raw water source capacity on the eastern region, we do have our superficial aquifer, which is about 100 feet deep. We have our 100 wells, and it's 135 million gallons per day. On the western region, we go down about 1,400 feet to our Floridan aquifer, a little saltier water. We have reverse osmosis treatment for that, and we have about a 10 MGD capacity for that. So our capacity analysis was the projections that we used to demonstrate that we have sufficient water supply capacity to meet current and future projected water demands for the eastern service area. And also the same we have for the western. We did the projections to show that we had sufficient capacity to meet the water demands. So alternative water source program, like I'd mentioned earlier, we are very, one of the aggressive and one of the leading suppliers of reclaimed water since the early 90s in the area. And we're going to also use that to help to recharge our regional system. We have 2 other projects to highlight. The South County Reclaimed Water Project. Back in 2014, we partnered with Broward County, where we're going to bring 7 MGD, a million gallons per day of reclaimed water in to serve our southern service area where we don't have reclaimed water now. That will hopefully start within the next about 3 years in 2028. And also one of our highlight projects, the Green Cave Phase 2 project, where we're going to be treating reclaimed water to drinking water quality, putting it in the lakes there at a 63-acre park that we're building, and that will help to feed the aquifer. So that's going to be a 2 MGD finished water that's going to go back to the lakes to be able to recharge our system. And that's all that I have, and I guess open to any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you for the presentation. At this time, do we have any questions from our commissioners? I'll start with Verissa and work my way down.
I do not have any questions.
Great, thank you. Raphael? Rick? Mr. Goldman? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just a comment. I had the pleasure of touring your facility in West Boca Raton.
Okay.
And I was blown away at the technology and the fact that you're using reverse osmosis. Three of your staff, your assistant director, along with two of his other colleagues, they gave me about a 45-minute tour of all the I guess, salient points. And I was very, very impressed. And just for audience sake, audience, if you're drinking out of a plastic bottle, what you're getting out of the tap is way better, cleaner. You're wasting your money. Plus, here's one other thing. If you're drinking out of a plastic bottle today, just know you're bombarding your body with microplastics, okay, which goes to the blood-brain barrier, and there's all kinds of peer-reviewed paper. But anyway, what you're getting out of the tap is much better. So the only thing I would tell you is get something, if you don't like chlorine water, get something to take that. But otherwise, what you guys are doing is amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Feeling all right, Rick?
Cedric, do you have any? How are you going to follow that one, Cedric?
I'm not sure I can. I do have one question since I'm the new kid on the block. You went kind of fast, but Palm Beach County provides water to Broward County and
we do have a couple interconnects, emergency interconnects with City of Parkland and the Northern Springs Improvement District. Those are the only two that we have an emergency interconnect to, but our boundary limits go right to the Hillsborough Canal, right to the Palm Beach County line on the south.
Okay, when you say emergency connect, just so I understand.
So if something happens, sometimes there's routine maintenance at a plant or something happens and something malfunctions and they can't produce water so that they can still supply their residents with water. Sometimes they'll call us and say, can you please open the interconnect so we can provide them water to be able to serve their customers.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Great. Thank you. I'm going to go right down the line. Selena said she did not have any questions, but she said it was a great presentation that she enjoyed. Brian?
I just want to say that I agree 100% with Gary's comment, and I grabbed my water over there, but I would agree with you. I wish I had my own cup. I think it's important for the public to understand how crucial water is to this entire endeavor of living here in South Florida. Even though we are surrounded by it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy to get to or it's easy to clean or it's cheap to acquire. And so I sincerely appreciate the efforts of our county and of our municipalities to ensure that we have clean, reliable water, and that I can actually take for granted that I can turn on the tap and it's going to be there. So thank you for your presentation this morning. Very informative.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. Kara?
Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Sorry, Carl.
No comment. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Since there are no other comments, I'll entertain a motion on this one. No comment cards. I didn't miss any, did I? Okay.
I would move to accept the agenda item as submitted.
Okay. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I think it's working.
So Rick and then Verissa, second, yes.
No, it is working.
Right. Any other discussion regarding the motion? Not seeing any. I'll call it the vote. Let's do a roll call, sure.
John Carr,
Yes.
Cara Erin Ferris,
Yes.
Barissa Laudas,
Yes.
Rafael Clemente,
Yes.
Brian Stenberg,
Yes.
Carl Klepper,
Yes.
Rick Stopik,
Yes.
Gary Brown,
Yes.
Cedric Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Thank you. Did she not get you? Yeah. Precious? We also, Selena's here. I don't think we did. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. Thank you for the presentation. Moving on to agenda item 4A1, I'd like to call the applicant up for Eternal Light Civic Text.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Jennifer Morton with J. Morton Planning and Landscape Architecture. I'm here representing Eternal Light Cemetery and Chabad of West Delray. Thank you for the opportunity to present today. We are here to respectfully request your support for a text amendment that will serve the needs of the community by allowing for the expansion of Eternal Light Cemetery and for the Chabad of West Delray to find a permanent location. The proposed amendment is narrowly written to allow a recognition of a long-standing civic use known as Eternal Light Cemetery to expand and to continue to serve the next generation, as well as to allow Chabad of West Delray to establish a permanent home near its congregates on a 5-acre parcel currently owned by GL Homes. To do this, we propose an alternative to the AGR PUD, which reduces the preserve requirement to 50%, but only when a project commits to providing an additional 10% of civic space. Next slide. A little bit of A little bit of background about Eternal Light, where they're located. Eternal Light has served our community since 1979 and is now assisting 4 generations of families. On average, they help 1,000 people per year. However, you can see from this aerial, the cemetery is landlocked and will be at capacity in just 9 years. They have reached out to GL Homes to acquire adjacent land, but without this amendment, they cannot expand. This policy gives them and the community a future home. Our other client, next slide, is the Chabad of West Delray. The Chabad of West Delray has grown significantly since its inception in 2019. It started out by renting a clubhouse at 7 Bridges, but now meets in homes, temporary venues, and rented facilities. They serve a portion of the West Delray community and are continuing to grow. Their congregants, can you go back? Their congregants live in the surrounding communities. You can see from this aerial their proposed location identified here in red, and then the surrounding communities that have developed. You see the Bridges, Boca Bridges, Lotus, Saturnia Isles. The proposed amendment would enable them to locate within a walkable proximity of these neighborhoods. Next, thank you. Now I'd like to get into the very specifics of the text amendment. Next slide. There are 2 policies that we're requesting to amend. The first one is policy 1.5T. This policy recognizes Eternal Light as an existing conforming use. What we're proposing is to add language that would allow for Eternal Light to be rezoned to an AGR PUD. So the specific language that I've highlighted here in red, it's also in your staff report, states that the county recognizes Eternal Light Cemetery as a long-standing provider of essential services to the community and supports its continued operation and long-term viability. To facilitate the preservation and expansion of this existing institutional use, the site may be rezoned to AGR PUD in accordance with policy 1.51I. Next slide. So now let's look at policy 1.51I, which is the second policy that we're requesting to amend. This amendment introduces the 50-50 structure, but only when a project provides a meaningful civic contribution. And that would be by providing 10% civic uses above the minimum required by the code of 2%. Then the preserve requirement, which currently is at 60%, goes to 50%, and the expanded civic area is allowed to be lessed out of the development area. And I'm going to go through a calculation on how this is implemented within the Whitworth PUD after I go through the specific text language. So the proposed text change for that policy would read, next slide, as follows. For projects that provide a minimum of 10% of the gross development area as public and private civic use as identified in policy 1.5T, the preserve area may be reduced to 50% of the gross acreage less right-of-way on the thoroughfare plan map. Number 2, the development area may be increased to 50% of the gross acreage less right-of-way as identified on the thoroughfare map and less the expanded civic area. The expanded civic area shall be civic area provided above the minimum PUD required 2%. Next slide. So what does that look like? And how is that specifically applied? You can see on the aerial the Whitworth PUD, which is the yellow and green area. There are other off-site preserve parcels associated with the Whitworth PUD, but I'm going to focus on the part that really applies to this text amendment. So you see Eternal Light identified as the site there. It's kind of like the donut hole. It's surrounded by, again, the Whitworth PUD. To the north is an existing development. It's known as Valencia Grand. So it's impossible for Eternal Light to expand to the north. To the east is Valencia Del Mar, which is currently under construction. So the only way for Eternal Light to expand, and what we're proposing to do, is for Eternal Light to expand to the west. Next slide. And so what does that look like as far as how it relates to the Whitworth PUD? And I'm going to walk through the calculations with you here. This chart assumes that the text amendment is implemented and that we have a 50-50 AGR PUD. All PUDs start out with a total gross acreage, and for the Whitworth PUD, it's 1,175 acres. All AGR PUDs less out any land that's being dedicated. So for the Whitworth PUD, they dedicated land for the L26, the Lake Worth Drainage District L27, and Lake Worth Drainage District L28. They also dedicated land for turn lanes. So for turn lanes on Lyons Road and turn lanes, both a right turn and a left turn, or they're known as a north approach and south approach. So all that's standard. What we're proposing is to also be able to less out of the gross area the civic use, and that's Eternal Light. Right now, Eternal Light sits on about 50 acres. With the expansion and growth to the west, it would be an additional 30 acres. So when we less out the civic site, the net PUD acreage is 1,068 acres. You take that acreage and you calculate the preserve requirement and the development area requirement. For Whitworth PUD, the preserve area that's required is 544 acres. The actual impact on the project, the Whitworth PUD would be providing more than the required. They would be providing around 619 acres, which is about 56%. The development area, the maximum development area allowed, again, is 544 acres. The development area that's being proposed as the net is less than that. It's around 44% or 469 acres. So that just is a shows how the civic area would be, or how the policy would be implemented into the Whitworth PUD. I think it's important to note that with this policy implementation, there is no change in density. There's no increase in density. And in summary, the proposed text language simply recalculates the preserve and civic ratios in a way that supports the institutional uses. So let's address the staff report. So in the staff report, we understand that staff is concerned about the impact on the preserve area. However, it's also important to note that in the staff report, they identify the amount of preserve that currently exists in the Ag Reserve. The county bond money, which the county approved a bond, $150 million bond, $100 million purchased 2,400 acres of preservation land in the Ag Reserve. The rest of the preserve land in the Ag Reserve is primarily from private development. Sometimes there's a misconception that the Ag Reserve does not allow for development, when in fact, the only reason you have such a significant amount of preservation land is because of agricultural reserve developments. Private development has added approximately 8,000 acres to the amount purchased by the county bond. From the developer's perspective, the text amendment provides a much needed incentive. The current policy actually penalizes developers for providing additional civic. They're penalized because every 1 acre of civic that is provided, they're required to preserve 1.5 acres of preservation. The current policy also requires that that civic acreage be located within the developable acreage, which means there's less land for the actual development to occur. And this is not a practical model. Next slide. So we looked at the changes to the Ag Reserve policies. We looked at the history also of changes to the Ag Reserve. Many of you have seen me here. I've been very active in the Ag Reserve. So I'd just like to point out that the county has repeatedly refined the Ag Reserve policies in response to the needs of the community. One of the early on changes was to allow for Bethesda West Hospital. But over the last 10 years, the Board of County Commissioners has adopted lower preserve requirements and provided more flexibility to preserved areas as identified on this list. Starting with commercial. Originally, commercial development was required to preserve 60%. Within the last 10 years, the board modified the commercial requirement to have no preserve required if the parcel was less than 16 acres. Another new land use category that was allowed in the Ag Reserve is the congregate living residential, CLR. The CLR actually reduces the preserve requirement from 60% to 40%, and they actually allow 10% of the water retention to be located in the preserve area. Essential housing, some of you were on the board when that land use category was approved to provide workforce housing in the Ag Reserve. The 60% preserve was maintained, but they provided flexibility to allow water retention in preserve areas. And the last new land use category that's been allowed in the Ag Reserve is the commerce land use category. On the commerce land use category, if it was less than 16 acres, no preserve is required. If it's over 16 acres, 40% of what's over 16 acres is required to have preservation. Also, water retention is allowed. There's no limitation on that. And the purpose of this list of changes is to show that things have changed and they have evolved. Each of these amendments reflects new realities whilst continuing to protect the reserve's character. Ours does the same. with one major difference. We are supporting an existing institutional use that already serves the community out there and has been serving them for almost 50 years. Next slide. This is actually the first step of the process for a text initiation. We're before you today, identified on the schedule as October 10th. We'll go to the Board of County Commissioners on November 5th. If the board initiates the text, then we'll file our comp plan and our zoning application. And
Ms. Martin, if you could wrap it up, please. We're at our 15 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we'll be back before you in April. We have 12 letters of support. You'll hear from people from the public shortly in support of the application. And in conclusion, we respectfully ask for your support today to initiate the text amendment for Eternal Light, for Habata West Del Rey, and for the community. Even staff acknowledges that increases in civic is beneficial, but without the proposed incentives that we're proposing today, that will never happen. This amendment provides those incentives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. We'll have staff presentation, please.
Yes, Bryce Van Horn will be presenting for the Planning Division.
Great, thank you.
I think we're going to see if we can get the clicker to work. Okay, I think it's working now. So I'm Bryce Van Horn with the Planning Division, and again, this is the it's privately initiated text amendment known as Eternal Light Expanded Civic. So any proposed changes to the text or maps within the comprehensive plan requires initiation by the Board of County Commissioners through this what we call the Phase 1 process. So these text and map series amendments can be proposed by staff or privately proposed. Should the BCC initiate this proposed amendment for Phase 2, then staff will process the request and accept the associated development order, and then returning through the public hearing process with a full staff report and recommendation at future public hearings. So the Eternal Light Cemetery is, of course, located within the Agricultural Reserve tier, which is a unique tier consisting of approximately 22,000 acres located in the southern portion of the county between the Florida's Turnpike on the east and the Arthur R. Marshall National Wildlife Refuge on the west. So this tier has a specific objective and policies adopted in the county's comprehensive plan. The adopted objective is in part that the tier shall preserve the unique farmlands and wetlands. That the tier shall be preserved primarily for agricultural use, and that the county shall preserve the unique farmland and wetlands in order to preserve and enhance agricultural activity, environmental and water resources, and open space within the tier. So this is achieved by limiting non-residential uses and clustering development with preserve requirements. So there's three methods essentially for preserving agricultural lands. The first two are through the public side, including the 1999 bond referendum, which directed $100 million to purchase land in the agricultural reserve. And you heard Ms. Morton indicate there's a little over 2,400 acres that's purchased by the county. In addition, there's other governmental entities, including federal, state, and of course, South Florida Water Management District, that own environmentally sensitive lands. And then on the private side, through the preserve requirements required in the comprehensive plan and code for new plan developments. So those are under several development options, such as the 60/40 and 80/20 AGR PUDs. So preserve areas are approved through the development orders with these development options and then further secured with conservation easements. If you look at page 5 of the report, there's a more detailed background of the preserve area requirements, changes over time. There's also a snapshot of preservation and development approval statistics from the most recent agricultural workshop with the BCC this past May. So as previously mentioned, one of the methods for preserving land is through the preserve requirements for new development. The base density is 1 unit per 5 acres. The residential plan development options, however, allow for a higher density at 1 unit per acre, with the units clustered on the development area with a preserve set aside. So the 80/20 AGR PUD is one option, which allows for a 20% development area and 80% as preserve. So there's only one development, was approved in 2000, that developed under this option. Another, and the main one today, that has been in the plan since 1995 and has been the one that has resulted in the majority of residential development, is the 60/40 AGR PUD, which requires 60% of the total land area to be set aside as preserve, with no more than 40% as the development area. So this 60/40 PUD development option, that's the main focus of the text initiation request by the applicants. There are other mixed use and multifamily options, and those provisions also have a minimum 60% preserve area requirement. This slide shows, just in a very simple graphic, how that 60/40 requirement works. So this shows a 250 acre parcel, which is the minimum required for a 60/40 AGR PUD, with 150 acres, 60% set aside as preserve, and 100 acres, which is the maximum 40% as the development area. Now, in this one, it shows the preserve contiguous. It can be off-site and non-contiguous. But with this development option, the density is calculated at 1 unit per acre over the entire 250 acres, with the density clustered in the 40% development area. So this results in 250 units. The net density in the development area for this example works out to 2.5 units per acre. So there is a background section of the report on the approval history of the Eternal Light. Ms. Morton went through some of it. It was originally approved in 1975. And also the Whitworth AGR PUD development area and its preserve area that surrounds the cemetery. So the applicants, in order to facilitate an expansion of the cemetery, are proposing, again, to amend the agricultural reserve tier policies. And if you look at the reports, Exhibit 1, and Ms. Morton had the specific language, but you'll also see the proposed policy changes in more detail. But in summary, the applicants propose to revise policy related specifically to the Eternal Light Cemetery to support the expansion so that the cemetery can be rezoned for inclusion in the Whitworth AGR PUD. So the main proposed policy revision is to revise the 60/40 AGR PUD policy, allowing a 60/40 AGR PUD that provides a minimum 10% of its development area as expanded private or public civic area to reduce the required preserve percentage down from 60% to 50% and increase the development area percentage from a maximum of 40% to up to 50%. So an expanded civic area is proposed to be defined as the provision of public or civic sites consisting of 10% of the total gross development area, which exceeds the 2% minimum currently required in the county's Unified Land Development Code. So in addition, the applicant is proposing to exclude the expanded civic area from the preserve area requirement. So if the board initiates the text amendment, there's no associated future land use amendment proposed, as the uses are allowed in the agricultural reserve future land use designation, which is the current land use designation. Instead, the applicant will submit a zoning development order to the Whitworth AGR PUD with you saw it before on Ms. Morton's slide, but that's the development area in yellow there, and there's preserve areas located north in the gray. The existing Eternal Light Cemetery is in blue, but essentially the development order would remove 26 acres from preserve and redesignate as development area for the expansion of the cemetery. So it would expand to the east where the current preserve area is. They would also rezone the 51-acre existing cemetery from IPF, which is Institutional Public Facilities, to the AGR PUD 60/40 zoning district, and then add the 51-acre cemetery and the 26-acre expansion area, which would be formerly preserve area, to the Whitworth AGR PUD development area as a private civic pod. So in addition, the zoning applications will remove an additional preserve area, including 48 acres. You see it down there on the southwest. Currently preserved west of State Road 7. This area is known as Hyder. It's Hyder 1, 2, and 3. As well as the previously mentioned 5-acre parcel south of Atlantic, just on the south side of 158th Road South, and just west of Lyons Road for the development of a place of worship. So the staff report includes a list in Exhibit 4 of preserve area changes that have occurred over the last 20 years that deviated from the original concepts and policies established for preserve areas, ranging from additional allowable uses, reduced minimum acreage requirements, allowing for non-contiguous preserves, and establishing new preserve requirements for new future land use designations, such as essential housing. However, this amendment represents the first proposed revision to the required preserve percentage for 60/40 agricultural reserve planned unit development option. Additionally, the applicant is proposing to remove proposed expanded civic area acreage from the preserve area calculation. So with the proposed amendments, while the proposed amendments represent an opportunity to allow for the Eternal Light Cemetery to expand and provide for some potential increased civic within the development area of an AGR PUD, the proposed amendment represents a significant policy change from what was adopted in 1995 and further reinforced in 2001 following the recommendations of the Agricultural Reserve Master Plan for the 60/40 AGR PUD development option. So in proposing this policy change, it would allow for a reduction in area that has already been set aside. It does not further the existing objective of the tier that the agricultural reserve be preserved primarily for agricultural use. So staff is therefore recommending to not initiate this privately proposed amendment. So the motion that we would offer would be to not initiate, and that concludes my presentation.
Great. Thank you for the presentation. I do know we have several people that wish to speak. So if we have any questions, we'll get after that. Verissa, I'm going to turn it over to you to...
So, when your name is called to speak, approach one of the two public speaker podiums, give your name for the record, and if applicable, the name of your client or the person or the organization that you're here on behalf of. And I'm going to be calling the names. There's two podiums, so I don't know how many individuals are here, but do you all just want to start kind of lining up, maybe two at each podium? Raru Louise Levinson, R-A-U-R-U. Sorry, I'm really sorry if I butchered that. And then Yosef Shippen. Thank you, Yosef. And then Yol Gans. And Jonathan Lindenblot.
Everyone step back, so I'm first. You know, it's a big line of people, and they took a step back. Okay, so my name is Jonathan Lindenblatt. Good morning. Thank you for having us and giving us the time. I have some notes here. I usually don't appreciate when my kids are looking at their phone, but I'm going to have to look at mine for a little bit. So thank you all for your time and giving us the opportunity. So speaking on behalf of Chabad, I live in Saturnia Isles. You might have seen on the map we're just west of the 5 acreage where the Chabad Center would be. I live there with my spouse and 2 children, boys 12 and 15. And our boys are growing fast, and we want them to have a place where they can go for their community that strengthens the community. We moved down here along with many other people about 4 years ago from New York. It's been wonderful to be down here, and there's so much growth in that area. I know they were talking about 2001. I know when I drove my friend down here, literally in a U-Haul from Brooklyn 25 years ago, that was farmland where we live right now. He can't get over it, right? So just appreciate how much it's grown, and it's been great to be down here for my family, part of the community. Everyone down here, top to bottom, has welcomed us. From a community perspective, Chabad has, with that growth, even in our, I'd say limited time compared to everyone else here, amount of time we've been here, we've seen so much growth, and the rabbi and the community and his family, they've enabled all of us to serve everybody. They're very open. They're one thing I personally love about Chabad in general and Rabbi Yossi in particular is that they're open to everybody. They see you for who you are, not what you come in looking like, not what you've done in the past, really where you're going and where you are right there. And it's really a great thing for the community and for my family, quite frankly, to learn that about everybody, that, we're all inclusive and inviting and we're all kind of here together. There have been educational activities and cultural activities, and there's just not enough room in these clubhouses and wherever the space has been so far to keep going and keep growing. I know last night there was one of my sons went to a community event where he met other teens his age. Kept him busy. He's not writing busy about.
Can we try and
oh, you want
wrap
quicker?
it up, please?
Sorry. Yep.
Sorry,
no
I
music
say
to
that
play.
as politely as possible.
No music to play for me. No
I say
problem.
it as politely
Get a
as
hook.
possible.
Get the music. I got it. I can take a hint. In summary, thank you so much. This would be great for the community. We've grown considerably, not just for the Jewish community there, but the community around us has grown in the last few years, and we'd love to have a center for us. Thank you so much.
Just as a quick reminder for all the speakers, there's 2 minutes that you'll have.
Hi, Ravi Foxner. I reside in Saturnia Isles, and I don't have anything written down. I speak from the heart. So I moved here 4 years ago from New York, which most of us did, and most of us will probably continue moving down. It depends who the mayor of New York is going to be. The stuff I heard from here, it's from 2001. Obviously, the geography changed a lot since 2001. It's continuing to change. I actually visited that cemetery for other reasons, nothing to do with this. And it is overpopulated, so the cemetery does need more land. And definitely the Chabad needs a place to be, a permanent home for all of us. And all of us meaning you guys too. Everybody, Chabad welcomes everybody inside of it. So this proposal will be nice for the community to have. There's not really a synagogue in that stretch of land. So it's definitely needed. And as the previous lady with the water said, this area is growing a lot. And by her numbers, it said, I think she's off by a few tens of thousands of people, the way it seems like, because you guys definitely have a nice piece of land that everybody's looking to move to. So the cemetery would need more people, because I think 9 years is definitely short. I think is going to be full before of the 9 years. And the Chabad needs a home to be in. Any synagogue or any place of worship is needed in that area. There's really not many to have. And it's a community space. It's not residential. So the infrastructure of the land is not going to be changed for the synagogue or for the Chabad. It's not like you're doing any residential. There's not going to be much traffic change in parking, because most Jews don't drive on the holidays going to shul or on a Saturday going to shul. So in that aspect, there's not going to be any traffic in that, electric, water, you wouldn't need all that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rabbi Yossi Shapiro, and my wife and I, and maybe my son and family, we run Chabad West Delray. And really want to thank you for your time this morning to hear this proposal. I know it's different to the usual, but it's extremely important. As we mentioned before, we thank God the community has really grown. Our intention is to serve the existing residents in the area. And just from the existing residents that live there, we've fortunately but unfortunately had to at times turn people away because we just don't have a physical space and enough space. So there's a real demand and need for a place to build community. And this proposal is not changing the makeup of the ag reserve per se. It's for the existing residents and communities that have already been built. But when the area was planned, they didn't plan in the ability to have a synagogue where we need to walk on Sabbath. So I have to walk. I'm not going to drive on Sabbath. So for us to be able to have a freedom of religion, to be able to serve and to pray, there has to be something walking distance. So we look at what even exists, but everything around the communities where we live is all preserved. So unless there is a planning type of change, it isn't practical to be able to have a place of worship. And it's really critical for ourselves, our families, our children, and for the community to have a space both for the eternal light to grow and for Chabad to have a place to be. So this isn't just, we want to build a community, we want to sell home, whatever it is. For us, it's a critical need of the existing residents that live there. That needs to be, the foresight has to be, how do we provide and have a place where individuals can pray? Not to change the core vibe, but to allow those who live in the area and around the existing communities to have a place to serve and connect and to grow, and to make the lives of those who already live there that much more meaningful, valuable, and important. So thank you all for your time today. And I want to thank you for your foresight and vision to be able to make a difference.
Thank you.
Can you all just remember to say your name?
Will do.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Frederick Fern. I'm a 20-year resident of Meisner Country Club, which is located directly across Lyons Road from the site under discussion this morning, and I'm here to speak in favor of the application. I've seen aggressive development by GL. I'm having built 7 bridges, Lotus, Boca Bridges, all since my 2005 purchase at Meisner. We've seen building of at least 2 churches in that area, the Egyptian Coptic Church and the Divine Church and School, also directly across the street on Lyons Road from Meisner. We are now asking for an amendment for approval to build a Chabad house, for a house of worship, for a community center, for a small but growing, vibrant congregation of mostly residents who live in the Bridges, Seven Bridges, Lotus, Meisner, its Attorney Isles, and the few other surrounding communities. I've had a similar experience when I was younger in a young, growing Chabad community in Short Hills, New Jersey, where I lived for 30 years before moving here, when I was gainfully employed working in New York City as in a law firm. An edifice is mandatory for proper learning, for social gathering, for a Jewish community. The growth is mandatory for functioning, the growth of the congregation, the growth of the community, and other social activities. Our spiritual leader, Rabbi Yossi Shapiro, who just spoke, and the real leader behind the rabbi, his wife, Leah Shapiro, reside in Seven Bridges, and a budding community which seeks this approval so he can better service the burgeoning flock and provide Saturday weekly services, holiday services, a Hebrew day school for elementary kids, which meets 1 day a week, and adult education classes and various Jewish social activities. There are few, if any, alternative sites within walking distance of Seven Bridges to build a Jewish house of worship and community center if this opportunity is not approved. There's no change in density, there's no change, this doesn't require more schools, more fire departments, or any other resources, though this is, even though the staff recommended not to approve, I stand here in favor of asking this commission to approve the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any more?
Barbara Roth and Frederick Fern. And that concludes our comment cards.
That was right.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners. Barbara Roth, speaking on behalf of COBRA. Good morning to my friends and to the Rabbi. COBRA will not be taking a position in opposition to this, but it's important that we review a little bit of the history. COBRA's been around 44 and a half years. So even before the official designation of the Ag Reserve, as COBRA expanded to what is now 55 square miles of unincorporated Palm Beach County, representing 106 homeowners associations, we have worked with the county and with the developers as they have moved west. I have to specifically thank Ms. Morton for reaching out to me a few weeks ago with this issue. We work best when we understand each other and have enough time to formulate our opinions. We are not in opposition to houses of worship, nor are we in opposition to the need to increase land to bury loved ones. We understand this. What we're very concerned about and what we would ask you to look at carefully going forward, and I will say the same thing to our 7 commissioners, is that perhaps an exception in this case because of the circumstances. But COBRA will be watching very, very closely and will strongly oppose any other exceptions that ask for such things as changing location criteria for commercial use, or such things that suggest increase in height to achieve density. We have worked and we supported essential housing. We supported the commerce use in the Ag Reserve and the CLR use. But we are just saying that going forward, we will watch the other. We will not take an opposition position in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Good to see you. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes.
If it's appropriate, can you just tell me what COBRA is or who COBRA is?
Barbara, would you like to come up and explain what?
If it's appropriate. If it's
Sure, no, absolutely. We're on to questions anyway, so and Barbara's a former chair of this. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Does someone have a question?
I had a question about COBRA. Can you explain to the new commissioners
Oh,
the,
hello,
what
new
COBRA is?
commissioners. I used to sit up there. Sorry, I don't
For a
know you.
minute.
COBRA is Coalition of Boynton West Residential Associations. Next June, it will be celebrating 45 years of advocacy in the unincorporated area of Palm Beach County. It was started by some very wise people along Military Trail who were extremely concerned about the density and the growth along Military Trail, and then as it moved out all the way west to Jog Road. And we can kind of think of that as quaint, but now, of course, we see what development we have. COBRA has been involved every step of the way with great courtesy and consideration from the developers and from our county commissioners. There is the West Boynton Community Plan, which lays out the parameters of COBRA, the 55 square miles. We look forward to bringing in more communities. We work very, very well with GL, except for that little blip 2 years ago with the land swap, but we've moved beyond that. Certainly Ms. Morton is one of the people whom we respect and work with. But the issue of growth in our 55 square miles, were we to incorporate, we would be the largest landmass municipality in Palm Beach County. But we're not going to, nor are we going to allow any of our communities to be incorporated. That's another issue, annexation. So that's COBRA. May I help
Great.
with anything else?
Thank you so much. Was it
Thank
good?
you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so now we'll move on to questions from the commissioners. And I'll start on this side. I always bounce back and forth. So, Selena, any questions for the staff or applicant?
You want to start on that end?
I'll start right here
Thanks,
with you.
thank
Let's
Thanks.
let the new person see what we
Good,
do.
right. Good morning. So a couple concerns that I have, and just maybe staff can help me. Is there a vertical restriction on this property?
Which property are you referring to?
The current land now that's occupied, because I understand that they want to expand, and if it's correct, they want the whole square, so they want a formal rectangle property.
Well, the height restrictions are in the code. Generally, it's 35 feet.
Is the height restriction on that land, on that current property right now?
Right.
So,
well, they would have to comply with whatever the code is.
okay, so that's my question then, because I've seen this many years where people want to expand outward instead of upward, but I understand if there's a restraint for vertical growth, that's that is my concern. So, for instance, I understand this is a very emotional topic, and I understand the point of where it's coming from, but you want to make sure that there is the community that the surrounding area would like, but I also want to make sure that we're not observing other things as well, because I've seen it where today it's this and we want to expand outward and we're asking for this variance. 10 years from now, it's going to come out and say, well, you gave an inch, now we're asking for another inch. So eventually it never stops. But this is why I'm asking, is there opportunity for the property owner to grow vertically instead of horizontally?
Well, we have zoning staff here, so that height limit is in the code.
It is 37 feet?
Well, it's 35 feet.
35 feet, okay.
Jerome
Yeah.
Marty
From
with
the
the
zoning
zoning
division.
division. There's a
Thanks.
35-foot height restriction, but then they may go higher depending with an additional 1 foot of setback. So
Okay.
let's say the setback is 25 feet at the front. If they
Right.
go 36 feet in height, then they would have to do 26 feet from front.
The setback on that side, okay. Because I do understand the concern. They want to expand. The other place is, the other thing is, and I think we're just going to end up in the same spot years from now, where somebody else is going to come and say, here's the variance you gave. So I typically don't give variances or acceptance in these because of that. It never stops. But I wanted to make sure that there is still a place where families can go, where the community can grow. And from firsthand experience, we lived in Miami. Our church is now on the very tiny corner, and all the growth is around it. So there's no more place for everyone to go. So I understand completely where they're coming from. So that was my concern, is to see if we can grow a different way instead of outward, because I don't like losing ag space.
Okay, thank you. Brian, any questions?
None here, thank you.
Kara, any questions for staff or applicant?
All right, I guess just along those same lines, the use is allowed. The question, or bringing up the institutional use or the civic use, whether it's public or private, is allowed. That's not the issue. It's just the matter that, yeah, they want to get rid of preserve area requirements so they could expand further. And I feel the same. You set these rules and then you chip away at them year after year, whether it's changing open space to be a golf course that wasn't, or being a golf course to go to residential, or, these different uses that you take these uses where they come in and they get their development approvals and they make these promises, is what I feel it is, a promise that will set aside this preserve area, and then they chip away at it, bit by bit. I can't support that either. I feel like this area is set as far as the type of development, and I feel that staff's recommendation is correct, and I did not see any justification why the preserve area requirement should be reduced. And in fact, it looked like they were pretty close as far as the numbers. So, I would tend to agree with staff and the recommendation that they've made.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
No questions, thank you.
All right. I'm going to go right down the line again. Versa, do you have any questions for staff or applicants?
I have a question for staff. Do we have any current organizations or anything, what efforts, or do we have any organizations that currently assist with the protection of the ag reserves, or are there any independent organizations that do that, or?
Well, we have, several interested parties that, we have Sierra Club, who comes out to speak about applications in the ag reserve. Cobra is very active. Delray Alliance is active in the ag reserve. So there are various organizations that speak. 1,000 Friends, thank you.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, if we allowed this, if there was a way for the owner of the property to invest in those protection efforts as well, so that we're kind of we're kind of ensuring that maybe the ag reserve is being protected as much as possible given the situation. I don't know. I'm just very conflicted about this and trying to figure out if there's a potential solution where everyone can win. It's a difficult choice.
So real quick and then I'll turn over to Raphael. We did have, I want to make sure all the commissioners we have 12 letters of support that was handed to us this morning. And then there was one, where did it go? Thank you. There was one in not support from, where did it go? 1,000 Friends of Florida. So I just wanted to make sure that was put into record, and also that our fellow commissioners had an opportunity to look at that before they vote. Raphael, sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Thank you. I guess this would be for Mr. Van Horn. On the area that is proposed for the expansion, what's happening on that space now, currently?
So that's currently set aside as part of the 60% preserve area requirement for Whitworth AGR PUDs.
So it's currently farmed?
It's currently in farming. As far as I know, the applicant is here, and I don't know if they are leasing it to a farmer currently, but it's preserve area, so they can farm it. They can use it for those purposes that are allowed in a preserve area. And eventually a conservation easement gets recorded on it. I believe there is a conservation easement on this particular property now, because that's the requirement for preserve areas.
Thank you.
Yes, Jennifer Morton with J. Morton Planning and Landscape Architecture. Right now it's just fallow land. Okay. So
fallow meaning it's overgrown, or it's under crops?
No, it's no longer in ag production.
Thank you. And I think I know the answer to this, but could you explain what happens on a private civic pod? That's a civic use that is within private ownership, that is for folks who are members of an organization, residents of the community, et cetera?
Jerome, so we have some stuff here. Is what's allowed in a
Private.
civic pod
Yeah.
of a PUD is in the code. So
Yeah, typically it's the institutional uses, places of worship, I believe schools, daycares, things like that.
Thank you. And then within the AGR PUD designation, so if I understood the presentations correctly, this would change from current to AGR PUD.
Correct.
Which means that sometime in the future, if this use ceased to exist, that land could be developed. Am I correct?
Potentially, under the current rules, yes, if they provide 60% preserve area. So if they were to, if Eternal Light, let's say, were not to continue for some reason and it was acquired by GL and GL wanted to expand their development area, GL would have to acquire enough preserve area to meet the 60/40 AGR PUD requirements. And in that case, it could be residential as long as they met the 60%. So they would have to go acquire additional preserve area.
And then finally, with this proposed amendment, can it be? It sounded to me like it would be restricted to this site. How is that possible? Like this seems to me like it sets a precedent, particularly the reduction from 60 to 50, and then the increase from 40 to 50. Like, how does this not just become the practice that is applied for future scenarios that are similar to this one?
And that's always one of our concerns too. So we worked closely with applicant to craft the language so that it is tied to specifically the Eternal Light Cemetery. So the two policies are connected. The Eternal Light Cemetery policy is connected to the what we call like the 50/50 revision. So doesn't preclude someone else in the future asking for something similar, but in this case, it's pretty tightly written to prevent that.
Thank you.
Rick, any questions?
Couple. Thanks. Jennifer, while you're there, question. You mentioned that the cemetery is going to be at capacity in about 9 years, I believe you said.
Yes.
With this expansion, have you projected out capacity 25, 30 years, plus or minus? Do we know?
Approximately 30 years.
30. Okay.
The
Thank
projection.
you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
We sit up here, we do get exceptions to the rules all the time. And I think this is one of those occasions where an exception to the letter of the law, if you will, can be superseded by the spirit of what's being done here. I am in support of this project for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it provides a vital service to the community, and there's certainly very limited areas in the county and the state, for that matter, where a similar project could even be considered or created. So I think on that basis alone, it warrants deviation from staff's recommendation, and I have the greatest of respect for staff, and I think staff is interpreting, as they always do, objectively and empirically, the data and taking into account the regulations and the laws and the rules. We, as an advisory commission, can sort of tiptoe across the line a little bit, if you will, because we can look at the other factors where staff has to basically keep that consistent, for lack of a better phrase, tunnel vision with just looking at the rules and the regulations that are involved here. My feeling in this is that this project has minimal impact on infrastructure. It's not really going to affect the roads. It's not going to put any burden on schools. It's not going to put any additional burden on fire rescue. Certainly not the occupants at Eternal Life. They're there. They're not going anywhere. And I don't think that because of that, I don't think this is going to impact economically, if you will, infrastructure, whereas other projects that have come before us with homes, with commercial consideration, put into much greater impact on resources and so on and so forth. So taking all of this into account, in this particular instance, I think this is a viable exception, and I would be in support of it. Thank you.
Gary?
Hi. Well, so there's, I guess, two pieces of this. There's the Chabad, which would like to put up a house of worship, and they want to find a home, and I appreciate that. And on the other side, there's the cemetery. Actually, I think Bert Aronson's there, and if Bert was alive today, I don't think he'd be pushing for this. In fact, he's probably spinning right now. He was very big on the Ag Reserve. I guess what's troubling to me is it violates the Agricultural Reserve's core mission, which is to preserve the agricultural land. And it also sets a dangerous precedent, which I'm worried about. So the first time in 30 years, the 60-40 ratio would be broken. And also it undermines $100 million in voter-approved preservation of bonds. So that to me is a little troubling. But the other thing is it creates a troubling loophole. And as we were discussing, there are other people who are going to take a look at it. Oh, it's 60-40 now, then it's 50-50, and I know there's a gentleman who said, hey, I've been down here 4 years, and I really like, everyone wants a piece of the pie. Well, everybody likes paradise. The problem is, where do you draw the line? So I wish there was an alternative, but at this point, I feel for you guys, but I wish there was an alternative, but I can't support it just because of the things I mentioned. But thank you.
Thank you. Cedric?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a couple of questions that I've been pondering. And my colleague here to the right basically said you want to build a place of worship as well as expand the cemetery. Who currently owns the land that you want to expand to?
GL Homes owns the land, and they've worked with Eternal Light on trying to provide them with that land area. GL Homes right now has an approved PUD, has their density. They can continue to build homes, but what this does is Eternal Light right now is landlocked, and without this land, they can expand. And without, so they're working with GL so that it doesn't negatively impact GL by giving them this land or selling them this land. So that's why we came through with this application. And then the district commissioner actually asked GL to work with the Chabad to find land so that they could locate and serve this community. And so they're actually looking to donate the 5 acres that the Chabad is looking for. So they're trying to provide public benefit to the people.
I'm just trying to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So the place of worship will be built on the land that you want to acquire.
The place of worship, GL currently owns a 5-acre site right next to Divine Savior. They would, there's a conservation easement that prevents any development. That conservation easement would be removed, and the Chabad would be able to develop on that property. And it's co-located adjacent to all the other residential developments where their constituents are.
I think that's where I'm just confused, and maybe the board can help me out a little bit. Is it a way that you can get your place of worship without affecting the Ag Reserve?
No, not at this time.
So, Mr. Chair, if you can help me. So if the board decided to do this, are you saying that it's going to unravel totally the Ag Reserve process that's been put in place?
I don't think I can answer that. But just keep in mind, I think this commission should look at each project that comes to it's on its own merits. If it comes out and, oh, well, you did it before, it's going to be up to the commission that's sitting here whether to approve that or not. Just because we approve or not approve this initiation, I think that's one important thing that we're missing here is that we're looking at, well, what if? Will it bring other people? Of course it will. We've seen it. However, I trust the commission that we've had up here that they won't allow it. We've denied it when it's come back before. And so to answer the question whether it's gone on, I can't answer that. Maybe I'll refer to our attorney, but I can tell you that have we seen it when we've approved something and it's come back where another piece of land, I think Barbara talked about it, or somebody talked about it, where we denied it. We denied something that came back. So I don't know if that answers your question, Cedric, but I really can't answer whether it's going to unravel it. I mean, I think it's been an ongoing.
Yeah, maybe that is a question for staff. I just didn't hear anybody from the public against it and the 12 letters of support with the one exception. I just, if the rules were put in to make sure that the residents have what they needed in that area, but they're not here saying, hey, we're not against this. In fact, they're saying that they support it. That's where I'm trying to get to make sure. And like I said, I am new. It's the first meeting. I just, trying to, digest all of this. But to me, it doesn't seem like it's a public outcry for it not to occur. So that's where I'm trying to
I'll come back to the commission. Staff, does anyone on staff want to answer the
if I
question
may,
on the
through the chair.
unraveling? Yep.
So GL has put into preservation 60%, the 60% preserve requirement. So there's the 5 acres, which is one of the parcels that GL has put into preservation, and there's a conservation easement on it. This amendment, GL does swaps all the time, so they could potentially swap this preserved parcel out with and find another preserved parcel, 5 acres, to replace it with, and they would still meet the 60% preserve requirement. So the amendment is not necessarily needed, really, for the Chabad, but it's kind of a side effect. GL would be able to unpreserve, take out of preservation a certain acreage amount from their AGR PUD. They have offered to donate this property to for the Chabad, and it just happens it would be one of the properties that they would unpreserve and release it with approval from the county from the development order and release it from the conservation easement. I don't know. Maybe it's financial. Where they could go find another piece of property, or they could approach GL and maybe have them swap out a 5-acre preserved parcel just for them. This is just speaking for the Chabad. I really don't know, but they proposed this amendment for Eternal Light Cemetery expansion. And the side effect or the benefit would be that they would unpreserve a number of parcels, one of them being for the Chabad.
Great, thank you. Raphael, did you have a statement or a question?
So many. Every time I come sit in this chair, I realize this is a privilege and it's an obligation. This is such a difficult decision. Chabad is a community-serving, community-building organization. They do great work. This is, in a sense, as Rick put it, like it's allowing people the opportunity to live and practice, within their religious guidelines, by providing the amenity of having a place of worship within walking distance of their homes. But at the same time, I feel staff's concern. My only really serious concern here is the precedent of the reduction of preserve and the increase of development threshold to 50%. And I agree with you, Mr. Carr. Like we sit here today and we make the best decision sitting here today. And if I felt like this was a today only decision, it would be an automatic yes for me. but I am concerned about a precedent that will come back. Everybody who submitted a letter, the gentleman and folks who spoke, all acknowledged why this area is in such demand, and it is the character of the place. This is a very difficult, challenging decision, and I think, the fact that Cobra, that Ms. Roth even said what she said about we're not taking a position of opposition, but there is raised concern. Yeah.
Thank you. Rick?
I actually think this one's a little easier than that for a couple of reasons. And, just to give Cedric some background, because, you're new here. In the past, we've had some, I won't use the word controversial, but testy discussions of, and we've given great deference to residents in the area where there seemed to be overwhelming either support or against, even though that might have gone contrary to what we were all thinking or what staff was recommending. Because again, these are people that live there. They chose to live there based upon what was going on in that area, and they liked it and what have you. So we do give, at least I do, give some consideration to that. And I think that has swayed this commission on a couple of issues that have come up over my time on, which is now probably a little over 4 years, 5 years, something along those lines. I think in this particular case, again, I'm pretty comfortable that if a project were coming before this commission today to build on the land that the cemetery wants to expand to, and it was going to be some type of commercial building of 2 stories or such, it would be a slam dunk thumbs down from this commission, from the way I see it. The house, the Chabad going in where they're looking is adjacent to several other houses of worship. So that precedent's already been set or violated, for whichever you prefer. So I don't think it's a big stretch for a Chabad to slot in, if you will, let's call it Religion Row, if you will, almost like we have on Yamato, over towards St. Andrews area, where you got church after, faith after faith, on down the block. So I think it's the logical place for it. It's the only place for it. If it wasn't Chabad, perhaps another faith might want to look at that property at some other point in the future. But really, getting back to the cemetery, short of leaving it agricultural, it's my personal opinion that expansion of the cemetery is probably the best, quote-unquote, use of that land, short of leaving it alone, as opposed to, I will assure you that sometime in the future, somebody's going to come in here looking to put some sort of structure on that land, and then we're going to have this harangue again, whether it's commercial, residential, freestanding medical clinic, a school, a daycare, which we always give a lot of deference to schools and daycares because we seem to think that they have the community need. I can tell you right now, if it's going to be a Wawa, ain't going to happen. But taking all of these factors into account, again, to the chair's position, we can only make the best decision using our knowledge and our gut instincts based on the circumstances and facts that are presented to us today. Who knows what tomorrow is going to be? Who knows what projects might come before us? Who knows what change in attitudes will be? But based on what we have here today, we have to make our decision solely based on that, and with the input from the community, to Cedric's point, which has been overwhelmingly favorable, at least from what we've seen and what we've heard. So I do take that into account, and again, it would be my position to go forward with this project. There seems to be some opinions on both sides, but thank you.
Thank you. Gary, you had another comment?
I have a question for staff. So, I'm sorry, sir. Gentlemen, our specialist planning.
Bryce.
Was it Bryce?
Bryce.
Hi, Bryce. Okay. Bryce, did I hear you right that said if this was, you could do like a swap, and maybe if GL would trade off a parcel that would keep the integrity of the 60/40 in place? Did I hear that correctly?
That's a method for freeing up properties that have been set aside as required in the plan for preserve to meet the preserve requirements. GL has done a number of swaps between various AGR PUDs that they had approved or that are currently approved, and where they do development orders and they move around some of the preserve areas. But it still maintains the 60/40 preservation requirement. So I don't know if it's an option for them financially. I don't know anything about their finances. But it's a method that happens all the time in order to free up a piece of property for some other use.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Mike, just to reiterate, for all the reasons that Rick described, I mean, I like his logic. I just don't want to break the 60/40. And if it's possible, you guys could go back and maybe you could get that swap with them. I don't think we'd have a problem up here because then the 60/40 is preserved. It's a win-win all the way around. Is that a possibility?
Well, the reason why that we were proposing this modification, and again, it's only for this property, is because this is an issue that's for the Chabad and for Eternal Light. GL does 60/40s all the time. Yes, they move preserves around. It's a zoning application. Never even comes to this board. There, you can see from the aerial all the PUDs that have been approved. But what happened was the community came to GL, the elected officials came to GL and said, we need you to help these community supporting uses, Chabad, find a home, and how is Eternal Light going to serve the residents into the future? So they're trying to come up with something that would allow those two uses to expand and to find a home, but not penalize them and not be a disincentive. So this is like a neutral incentive. They continue with the Whitworth PUD development. They don't get any more units. Doesn't change the density out there, but they are able to give the land area to the Chabad, and they're able to allow Eternal Light to expand all the way out to 441. So it's a neutral.
And listen, I understand that. What we're trying to work out here is compromise. We want to keep the 60/40. We don't want, everyone, how about me, then lawyers get involved, and then everything goes to Kaflooey. What would be excellent is if we could get GL at some level. Now, let me ask you a question. Bryce, how many acres are we looking at just for the Chabad element of it?
It's a 5-acre parcel.
Okay. So maybe we can do this in steps. I mean, I think, and nothing, because I know you have a job to do, and I know who you represent, but if the Chabad could get their 5 acres, and that'd be easier to swap out with GL than bringing the whole piece together. I'm sorry, I'm looking at where I think the use would be easier to take a look at. As far as getting the public and what the public is saying, they voted on a $100 million bond. Obviously, they want to keep it preserved. I think the Chabad needs a place. Maybe 5 acres. So is it possibility, staff, and maybe you guys could explain this to me, is there a way we could bring it back, give them time to go look at it, and come back at it again, and maybe we can get this 5-acre swap? Because if it's all or nothing, I just have, reservations.
I think we have to vote. I'll ask the attorney. We need to vote yes or no, and then they can come back. Is that correct?
Yeah, your
right.
vote today isn't going to preclude them from exploring that option.
That's right, exactly. If let's say it fails, I want to make sure we read the motion right too. So, because sometimes we get confused when it says staff not to initiate. What do we? So, did you have another quick comment?
I was just going to say that this really is. I mean, they're gifting that 5-acre site. It's $2 million value, and doing more and more swaps. That's not why we're here. We're here for the text amendment. So,
thank you. Okay. Any other comments? I have really a couple comments here. One, Rick, hit the nail on the head. The staff, when it says staff not to initiate, they have certain parameters that they need to abide by. And I like the way you put it. What did you call it? Something that we can think outside the box a little bit. Yeah, we don't have tunnel vision, right? I've never crossed the line. Oh, I forgot Raphael was here. Maybe. Yeah. But I do think it's about. I understand the precedents. I really do. But I really, I'm in support of this. I think that number one, I was not aware that GL Homes, gifted it, which is great. But I do believe this is the kind of stuff we need in our community. And the fact that this is what would be going there. I know we can't completely restrict it. But again, I think we go back to trusting our BOCC, Board of County Commissioners, that they're going to do the right thing as well. And then sometimes we can say, we would like our feelings known to the BOCC. We did approve it or we didn't approve it, but this is what we would make sure that we could put in there, that they're aware of what we felt. But I believe this is a great project for this area. It totally makes sense, and this is what we need more of, not less of. And there's nothing there. I think if there was something else there, if they were still growing strawberries or beans out there, then maybe this would be a little bit of a different conversation. And again, to Rick's point, if this came here and they were going to build a warehouse, which we've turned down a couple times with Miss Morton, I think, that's a different story. This is really a great project for here. So if I don't have any other comments or... Yep,
I do have a comment. Just because it's my understanding GL Homes is not gifting the Chabad acreage. The GL Homes is giving the cemetery the preserve area. And in addition, the preserve area, the PUD, the cemetery comes in as part of the PUD, and they will be giving the civic site to the Chabad. Because using the Chabad to offset the 10% preserve that's being removed, the Chabad will be the civic use that takes that 10% place, which is required by the code. So the Chabad allows them to do the 10% reduction, having that on their site. So that's their benefit.
They are gifting that 5 acre.
I understand, but it's not GL Homes giving that acreage to the Chabad. It's a switch. They're giving their preserve area, which they would have to maintain. They would have to make it as part of their development. In this case, they get to give it to somebody else. If they develop it, it's not preserve anymore. It's not going to be created or, replanted. It's the cemetery that then takes that parcel and to meet that civic requirement gives it to, or whatever deal they have, develops it. Gives that to.
Well, they own all of that land, so that's
understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a deal that's being swapped.
Yeah, this
It's a
is
swap.
a
Preserve area is going away, 10%, all the way to the road. So, and then
selling
that
that
becomes
land
part of the
to
cemetery.
Eternal Light,
They will
right.
have the civic use on their site.
and then the Chabad, right?
It's a deal. It's a swap.
It's
and the
a
Chabad
real estate deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, this gives them the ability to utilize that preserve area. We're going to get rid of it, but the 10% switch, which is the code allows, and it will allow for other people to do, not just this site. This now allows this 50-50 split if someone wants to bring in a civic use, which, as you